Good evening, guys. What's up?
What's up?
How are y'all doing this week?
It's been a while since we had four on panel.
I know, right? I'm not used to the screen having the different constraint things that we got going on here. Hey, just so that everybody knows in the chat, please say hello. This is Mr. Kevin McCabe. He does a ton of stuff. I don't even know where to begin with the work that you're doing just all across the board. You want to let us know, so we're familiar with you in the chat now from Addictive Fishing, television show from, I don't know, what did you, like 23 seasons or something?
Yeah, I did.
What are you working on now, and let us know about what your projects are.
Sure. So I started the show in 1999, even before YouTube was even a thing.
Yep.
And we've been going strong. About 2006, I think, was probably our best, the highlight of our career. And then COVID hit a couple of years ago, and Discovery Channel called me and said, "Well, what are you going to do?" Because we couldn't go to the ramps. People didn't want to transmit it, so we didn't know if we could fish with each other. So there's a lot of uncertainty. So Discovery Channel called and said, "So what are you going to do?" And it's a funny story is that I just was in the meeting and I just said, "What about an RV show?" And they literally looked at me and said, "If you can get me a pilot, let's roll." And so I spent 30 years behind the camera, and now I'm in front of the camera. So it's a totally different deal.
I was wondering about that. I was wondering about your switch over. Because I've watched a few episodes now of Addictive Fishing and everything. Not now, because I remember you guys actually being on back in the day. That's back when I was in college at the time when y'all were doing that.
Yeah, it's still going. It still gets 1 million views a month. I mean, it's still a strong channel. I mean, it still does well. So, I keep on keeping on. I've been inspiring people to fish for 23 years behind the camera. And so I thought, why not go in front of the camera? And now I get to fish. So I fished a bunch of different, we fished in Maine. We fished out in Brevard County over in Space Coast. I did the headwaters, fish for bass, but it's kind of everything. It's travel, it's adventure, it's food. It's a lot of fun. I enjoy it a real lot.
What's the name of it again, the show?
It's called RV There Yet. So we travel around in an RV.
I'll write that one down. Might have to bug you. Me and the wife are looking at getting close to retirement now. We're looking at doing the RV thing. So
it's a blast, man. It's a lot of fun, and it's something that took off from COVID because RVing took off, and I had this idea, and now it's just been crazy. It really has. It's been really popular.
Did it stem from just like that name? Did just one day at a gas station you're like, oh, RV There Yet? Oh, and everybody has a little laugh, and you're like, no, seriously, this is going to be a show now. Is that how that works?
It was my wife's idea, and I tell you what, everybody that hears the name literally says the name is really what got them to watch. And so it's just been great. It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's good ones.
That's so cool.
Well, let's talk fishing. We're here to talk fishing. Let's talk some fishing.
That's all right.
Let's do it. Yeah. So, and first off, right off the bat, like everybody in the chat, let us know what get us all caught up now. We're going to be looking at pictures here just a little bit, but let us know what were you guys doing all weekend? And of course, we've got some things to talk about that was in the news. It's going to be a fun conversation, at least I think. If you're not familiar, let me bring up an old picture here. We'll take a look. So in the news, we got this whole Marlin tournament thing. What happened? The backstory on this is in North Carolina, a week or two ago, there was a big-time Marlin fishing tournament out of North Carolina. And it happens every year. We've got a link down in the description below if you are watching this after the fact, if you want to check out what's going on with this story. It's basically, this is an annual tournament. It's a billfish tournament that they do. And these guys, they got themselves into a 600-plus pound marlin.
Winner.
Now, the rules for the tournament are that they get an extra $500,000 for being over a 500-pound fish, and then they got disqualified because of shark bites.
That hurts.
That hurts.
That hurts.
But now there's more to this story. We're going to get into that in just a minute. But first, just knowing like the initial thoughts on this, I'm curious what your thoughts are on how you feel about this. Just initially, like John, we'll start with you. What are your thoughts on this?
Now, for me, I mean, when you first hear it, it's like and you see the picture, like, so a shark bit it. Who cares? They still caught a 600. It's lighter now because the shark bit it. Probably, it would have been even bigger. So on face value, it's like, wow, these poor guys. I think they were a local team too. Maybe, I'm not sure. Just lost out on $3.5 million potentially. And then you start looking at it's a rule they had. They're following IGFA, even though they're not an IGFA tournament.
Exactly.
They called it mutilated, which to me, mutilated is that amberjack you pull up where you just have the head and the rest of it. That's mutilated. This is he's got some love taps. He could have swam away from that. But it's their rules. So then you say, okay, it's their rules. And then, what was it, 2019, they had another fish that came in, and it was beat up. A lot of people say worse than this one.
It was like a 900-pounder.
Yeah, and it won and got the money, but they said it was the damage was caused to it after it was brought on the boat, which I'm not sure how that makes a difference, but I guess it does. But some people who witnessed it say they did see bite marks on it. So I don't know. So now that's the controversy. And I think if this is a rule and you stuck by this rule the whole time, then so be it. Poor guys, man. That was a mean shark. But I would hate sharks even more but if they aren't enforcing that rule fully every time, then it makes them look kind of bad. I heard that the captain,
it's a little arbitrary.
Yeah, the captain has challenged it. I forgot the term they used, and he's also hired rules. So we'll see what happens. It's not over with yet, I don't think.
I'm curious to see how it goes, because there's a little bit more going on with this whole thing than what has just been put out there. Like there's keeps to be things popping out on it. Grant, what are your thoughts, man? Where do you stand on it? Is this fair? Should these guys have been disqualified?
Yeah, if they knew the rule, they shouldn't have turned that fish in. If they didn't know the rule, then
it
sucks.
Oh, Grant
with a hot take on this one. Usually it's the other way around. Grant, oh come on, man! You're a fisherman. How are you going to side with them on this?
I mean, if they knew the rule was it's disqualification if you got shark bites, then they should have tried to catch another fish.
Well, maybe they saw the one from 2019 and thought, hey, it's about the same as that.
Or maybe they were like, dude, this is a 600-pound fish. We just won this contest. We're going to enter this thing regardless.
Yeah, take our shot. Maybe we will get it.
Yeah, they knew when they were like pulling up, they're like, yeah, we're probably going to have to get a lawyer. We're still raising the banner. Mr. McCabe, what do you think about it? What are your thoughts on this?
Well, I spent 4 years of my life producing FLW redfish and FLW kingfish tournaments. So I have seen my share of shark bites on winning fish. And I'll say this, where's the video? I'd love to see the video of the fight and certainly what happened to this fish. It's heartbreaking. I mean, big time. I can't imagine the bill, just the gas bill of these boats.
Yeah.
I mean, it's incredible. I don't know. I sent you a video today. I did the $1 million Marlin tournament down in Cabo San Lucas years ago, and I got to see a 600-pound Marlin. And let me tell you something. That fish was a monster. It literally greyhounded right beside us the whole time and then turned and gave us a look and said, and it sounded, we never saw it again. So for me, like Grant said, a rule's a rule. It's tough. It's tournament fishing. There's not much you can do about it. But I'll tell you what, that's a big fish, super big fish to come to the scale.
Right. Yeah, heartbreaking. And then I guess the fish that won was like just over 400 pounds.
Yeah.
484 was the one that is now currently the winner. Which, so we're talking about that saved the tournament directors $500,000. That decision. And like y'all were saying, so one of the other things that came out of this was that the 2019 fish, the 900-pounder, was also supposedly had bite marks and stuff in it. I'll let you decide. So I think the one on the far right was 2019, and then there was a couple of these other guys. These are all fish that have markings and stuff on them. So my thought on this, and Kevin, I'm going to start with you on this. My question on this, from your perspective, your point of view. So the reason this rule is in place is because people apparently, I've never seen this, and I'm not a pro, but I've never seen this. So apparently what they'll do is they will hit the fish with a boat in order to make it easier to land. Have you ever seen anything like that? I've never even heard that before.
No, I've never heard anything like that. I mean, that's certainly, again, you're dealing with big boats and big money, and there's just so much on the line that that's one of those things. I wouldn't want to be in that position as the tournament organizer. I mean, precedent is precedent. Sure. I mean, you've got to follow that precedent, and it's just a tough loss for those guys.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That center one does look rough.
It does.
Yeah. Now, I don't know how you determine what happens after, you land him. He's feeding himself around in the boat. Maybe there's some beer cans drifting around on the deck or something. I don't know that causes that. The guy on the left is kind of hard to tell. He's got some marks on him. My thought on this is, so I went sword fishing a couple weeks ago. John and I actually went out on the same day, 2 different trips. And we hauled up a couple of swordfish that had cookie cutter shark bites in them. So does that disqualify? If a cookie cutter gets a hold of one of these guys, does that disqualify it?
Mutilated.
Yeah.
That's a tough one. That's really tough.
What if they have one of those parasites that rides on the tongue?
Yeah.
Like, where do you draw the line on this?
Yeah. I'm sure deep in the rules there's probably a really good explanation in the rules. I just haven't seen them personally.
Yeah. That's a tough spot for the tournament organizer and the rules committee for sure.
Yeah.
What do you think a typical fight time for a fish that size would be?
I mean, didn't they say it took them like 4 to 6 hours to get that thing in?
Yeah, I think it did say that.
I mean, it's a lot of work backing down on it. I mean, you're battling it the whole time, and it's $2 million plus $3 million fish. I mean, that's no chump change.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't even know what kind of line do you use for that. What pound test do you use for that line?
I would probably use some hollow core, maybe some metered line, just so I know how far out I had. You have to know how far out, how close it is to.
I wouldn't want to know. I don't want it to be like, oh, I'm on green, dude. That means I've got only 3.5 hours left. All right.
Not true. I've caught one blue marlin, and it was only 200 pounds. But I'll tell you, I got my butt kicked. I've never had a fish kick my butt like that. Now, I'm sure that swordfish that we caught a couple weeks ago, if I was reeling it in by myself, because it was 1,300 foot down, it would have kicked my butt. But we had 6 guys on the boat, and we were just rotating on the reel until we finally got the fish up. Man, what a beast that one is.
I can't say how thick he is. I've never done anything like that, so I don't even know where to begin. I can't even imagine.
No.
No, Zane, it was 4 to 6 hours, not 46 hours.
4 to 6 hours.
We're not in labor here.
Yeah, somebody wakes up, is it my turn? Yeah.
Real quick, a shout out to the chat here. We got Jag Fishing in the house. What's up, man? How are you doing?
What's up, Jag?
Danny, fishing without a boat.
You're showing a heart.
New to the Tennessee Pickers Firearms Show, who's going to be going live tomorrow night. They're going to be discussing firearms and some other stuff. If that's something you'd be interested in, check them out. Good channel, got some good content. I'm going to be headed over there myself to say hi and see what's going on. We got Wild Japan, Small Water Charters, Scully Nation, Polish PR. Did you see the 3-ish mahi from that tourney that did win 2,000? I did not see that, actually.
What's 3-ish?
The Marlins run away with the story.
Must mean like 30 inches or what? 3-ish.
There was a couple of mahi in the tournament that ended up walking away with what I assume was the mahi tournament record, the mahi tournament winners.
Sneeze that for a mahi. Heck.
I wonder how big of the mahi were for that tournament win. So I was curious to see where you land.
Jack. 30 pounds.
Yeah, right.
Salmon seems inadequate.
That's what they use for bait.
Right.
Oh, okay. So the mahi was 3.8 pounds. 2,000
No.
3.8 pounds.
Got to be 30 at least.
Yeah, right. Like 38 pounds, maybe 3.8. Yeah. We release those. If that's the case, I'm never releasing a chicken dolphin again in my life.
You might win the tournament.
Yeah, my uncle makes me release. Whenever I'm out fishing with him, he makes me release that little stuff because he's very kind on the environment, and I appreciate that he does that. But if I have this to lean into, I'm never doing it again.
Saying it was a rough day and a lot of boats didn't get out.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's been going around too. It makes me feel a little bit less bad about sitting out here and, trying to get whiting off the beach at the moment.
Yeah.
Just trying to get fish, period, in general. What are you fishing for right now, Kevin? What are y'all doing? I know you got like other stuff going on, but when you get out fishing, what are you doing right now? And how often do you get the opportunity to do that?
Well, I leave in about 3 weeks on a long road trip. So I head out to Iowa. I'm going lake trout fishing in Nebraska. Probably do some fly fishing, maybe some Montana fly fishing. Going to do some trip to Montana. It's funny. I've been a saltwater fisherman my whole life. I mean, I grew up in Cocoa Beach over on the Space Coast, and saltwater was just in my backyard. So I never really had to chase freshwater fish, but I've been really getting into largemouth bass. A lot of fun, and it's everywhere. Everywhere we go, we can fish for largemouth bass. So it's just something that I always carry a travel rod with me. Always got a soft plastic on it. And matter of fact, if you watch the new show, Are We There Yet? This Saturday at 7 a.m. on Motor Trend is a show we did in Iowa, and actually we went to a state park and I caught a bass just shooting B-roll for the show. So we ended up making a segment out of it. So it's just anytime I can get a line wet wherever I'm at in this country, I'm all about it.
That's cool. Yeah.
Is your trip going to be taking you through Texas?
No, not this year. Not Texas. No. Well, actually, no. I'll drive through it when I head to Arizona. So yeah, I will come through.
Yeah. I'm sure you'll catch it at like 3:00 in the morning, something like that. And my condolences. You're missing out on a fairly decent leg of that journey.
I'm sure. We're going to do something down in Winter, Texas, down by South Padre. So we'll be maybe next year. I think we're going to head down. They call it Winter Texans down in South, where all the RVers go in the wintertime. So it's kind of like Florida. So maybe next year.
Hey, fantastic! Glad to hear that.
I'd like to do some hunting too.
To be doing that, actually.
What was that?
It's an excellent time of year to be doing that. Actually, what did you say?
I just said I'd like to do some hunting too. I know Texas got some good deer hunting, so I'd like to do that as well.
There's some stuff to be done for sure.
Yeah.
Exotics too.
Yeah. Deer is one thing. Like, I will be straight up honest about it. The deer hunting is not quite the same as what you'll find up north in like Grant's area. You can see Grant's a little bit more proficient than we are. We've got Nilgai though. That's the one thing that we can lean into, some of the exotics.
It's rough out there when those big boats, the head boats, turn around and come back in. 90 on the boat and they turn around and come in. That's bad.
Nice. So do you have a fish that you have not caught that you still want to catch?
Yeah, like bucket list.
Wow, that's a good one. That's a great question. Been down in the Amazon, did that stuff. That was fun. Peacock bass, stuff like that. Tarpon, trout. Snook is my favorite, but one I haven't caught. I got about a 7-foot sturgeon out in Oregon.
Nice.
It's wild. There's really, I think I've caught a lot of them, most of them.
Okay.
Doing the fishing show for 23 years.
Yeah. Right.
I've been all over the country, the Southeast, certainly Texas, all the way up to New York. I've done striper in New York. I did, I guess it was sturgeon in Oregon. We did what they call calico bass in California. You know what I haven't caught is those crazy gar, big ass gar. What are those big fish they got in Texas there? I see. That's it.
Alligator
haven't caught
gar.
one of those yet.
There you go.
Haven't caught one of those yet. I just had a buddy of mine down there catching those with that guide. So that reminded me. So that's probably one I haven't caught.
Okay. What about a dream hunt?
I'd love to pick off an axis deer there in Texas. I'd love it. Actually, I'd love to go to Nebraska. I've got a buddy of mine. Hopefully, if I have time. The problem is with time. I'm with the TV show. It's all sponsored, so I'm running between Winnebago and Iowa to Blue Ox Towing in Nebraska. So I'm doing a lot of appearances and stuff. So I don't have a super lot of downtime, but I'm going to have my office in Nebraska this year. That way, it's tough to do the RV show out of Florida. Heading out west, it's just too far. It's not feasible. So we're going to have our studio, which is I'm in my studio right now. I edit right behind me here. We edit the show. But we're going to have our studio in Nebraska this year. I'd like to do a Nebraska hunt. Would be great. Get a big deer out in Nebraska.
That'd be cool. That would definitely be cool.
Yeah,
Definitely.
Goth farmer wants an elk or a moose.
Yeah.
Yeah, elk is high on my list. Absolutely. Honestly, though, I'm not too picky about it. I'll take a like a gentleman-sized deer.
I'm the same way. I'm not picky.
I'm not going to be picky about it. I like meat. I'm not so much a trophy guy. I want meat on the table.
Yep.
Yeah.
I eat everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, never hunted, but husband's on board. Yeah, and you guys got some good stuff up in your area too. It's really hot. It's really humid down here and salty air. So the stuff down in like the South Texas area, hunting's a different ballgame. Like we're looking for hogs. You know, that's big time stuff. Up north, Grants area, you get like for real kinds of stuff to hunt. I'm not accustomed to that.
Yeah, really the only big game we have is whitetail deer. We don't have bear or any other big game. But yeah, we've got whitetail. I'm in southern Illinois, pretty close to the Kentucky border.
Oh, there's my co-host on the show right there. That's my wife.
Speaking of which, Patrice, thank you so much for loaning your husband to us. We really, really appreciate not just his time, but yours as well.
Pheasant, quail, and turkey. That'd be cool.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever done? I'm curious because we have Zane Collins in the chat. This gentleman just went through the most insane hunt over in Africa, where he killed just animals that I've never even seen before. Have you ever done that? Have you had the opportunity to do anything like that overseas?
No, I haven't. I'm more of a support this country kind of guy. I like to get all my stuff from this country if I possibly can. Although I'd love to go to Africa. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I've been down to South America, but we're about supporting this country right now and certainly showing all the people what you can find right here in this country.
Very cool. I like that.
100%.
I love that mentality. You know, one of the bases for the basis for my own YouTube channel is everybody does redfish and they do trout and they do, the species that everybody's heard about. And I'm not that good at fishing. So when I first started, I'm like, or at least when I first started, I wasn't quite that good at fishing. And I was like, you know what? Like I can catch all these other species and they're still fine to eat. It's still a fun catch if you do it right. If people will catch things and they're gonna be like, I don't know what this is. And I don't know, I wanted a redfish. I really don't care about this other thing that I got my hands on. And I'm sitting here going like, man, I eat it all. And that's not necessarily to say that they're all good, but a lot of them are a lot better than what people think they are. So I guess was kind of the direction we're going with that. Like, you know what, you can fish for other stuff, still have fun with it, and it's even still edible.
I've eaten it all, and I love it all just like you. I'll take it. I like to try it all.
Yeah. Okay, so that brings up a heck of a question, my friend. What's the worst fish you ever got served to you on a plate?
That's a good question. I'm not going to name the restaurant, but bad seafood. And I can say this if my wife is watching. She just went through bad food poisoning from shrimp. So
that's different. That's like poorly cooked or it's something. There's issues like that. But literally, like the fish that you're like, this fish was never going to be good. This was never going to work. Like the specific fish that you're never gonna eat that again.
I love cobia, I love snook, I love red. I don't really have one I don't like. I mean, I don't. Some trout's a little gamey.
Taurus trout or Jack Crevalle or.
Oh, Jack's, yeah. Jack's a little too oily for me. Certainly, that's one I wouldn't stay away from. I mean, that's one of the best pound for pound fighting fish going. But and on my table, no thanks. Tarpon, no thanks. Bonefish, no thanks. But I mean, I'll eat anything. So far, so good. I haven't had anything I don't like.
I like that. I like that we're on the same page. It's reassuring for me.
I mean, like sturgeon. I didn't think I would like sturgeon. Sturgeon was fantastic, although they didn't want me to eat it because it's so endangered out there. But I had to taste it. I mean, I caught a keeper, so you got to taste it. So kingfish. I love all fish. Truly do.
You're speaking my language on that. I don't want to hurt anything that doesn't need to be hurt, but I want to try everything once.
For me, oysters is not my favorite. It's just, I think it's a texture thing, but that's just me. But remember, doing a show for 23 years with Blair Wiggins, I mean, I ate everything. I got to try everything. There wasn't a fish I didn't like, honestly.
Nice. Well, doing the naming people, who's the best fisherman you've ever seen fish?
Best fisherman. Well, let me tell you something. I grew up with the host of my show, Blair Wiggins. I've known him since the second grade. All right. So when you grow up with somebody like that, he teaches. I mean, it's hard to explain. Just like his skip casts, to him, it was second nature to skip a DOA shrimp under a mangrove. And people that watch the show would just literally freak out to watch how easy it was for him just to flick a shrimp right under the mangroves and pop a snook. We had so many people over the years write us emails that said, I saw you fishing that DOA shrimp. I went out at 1 a.m. after I watched your show and threw it under a dock and caught a snook. And that's just, that to us was just, that's what it's all about. To be able to show somebody a technique and they go out behind their house and throw it under their neighbor's dock and catch a snook, their first snook. For me, that's really why I'm doing this RV show, is that I want to inspire people to go see this country. I mean, it's beautiful, the places we've got. I mean, we talk about Nebraska. They call it a flyover state. It's not. It's absolutely beautiful. It's 4,000 feet up in the northwest corner, up on these bluffs, the hikes, the view. It's unbelievable. People think Nebraska's just cows and corn, and it's not. And that's really, so for years, 23 years, I really inspired people to catch all different types of fish. But now I really want people to get out and see this country and support this country.
I love that passion. I love the message behind that.
Yeah. And I get to fish too.
Right.
Good things aside on that. So, worst fishing trip ever.
Okay.
Ooh, that's
worst fishing trip ever was in Destin, Florida.
Not Texas.
We get there.
We're on a good start.
And it starts raining. And rains for 4 days. Okay. And I got a crew of 4 people and Blair. And there's only one thing to do when it's raining, and that's get a little buzz on and go do some drinking. We got so hammered on that trip, it showed up the last day it stopped raining, we had to film. We were all hungover. So that was probably the worst shoot. It cost us a lot of money. But again, Mother Nature, she rules. And when she comes calling, there's nothing you can do. I mean, you guys are in Texas. You know, down there, the wind never stops blowing, ever. I mean, that's just something you got to deal with.
You know what? The wind is the bane of my existence. And I'll tell you what, right here. So this is the longest my hair has been in months because I'm lazy and it's just been like crazy months or whatever. So I haven't got a haircut. Normally I'm shaving my head. I shave my head because I don't want to deal with the wind. Period, bar none. Like, that's why I started doing that.
You got good trout fishing now. I love the trout fishing down in South Texas. So I'll take the wind if I can catch me a big 28, 30-inch trout.
Oh, man, yeah. And these days, we had the freeze a couple years ago. It made things a little bit difficult. But, you know, they're still around, and it's still an amazing place to be doing that for sure.
They'll come back. We had the same problem with snook down in Florida in 2010 on that freeze, and they've come back like gangbusters. So they'll come back. They'll make it back.
Do you think maybe they're a little bit more hardy, the ones that survived, or is that just like wishful thinking?
I think they knew where to go. I really do. I think the ones that died were the ones in 2 to 3 feet of water down in the Everglades. They didn't have a place to go. They didn't have a deep hole to go hide in. So we lost most of our snook down in the Everglades.
Yeah, it's that deep hole. That's one of the things that Texas Park and Wildlife did too, is there's known spots where the fish will have to go to when it's like that. And there were some fishermen that would take advantage of that. And so Texas Park and Wildlife shut those areas down so people couldn't fish them during those freezes.
Have you guys ever targeted snook down in Texas?
Not
all right, I got stories about that. I do a lot. So we got the jetties down here on Padre Island, and I do a little bit of spear fishing every now and then. And every time I go down in these certain areas, like there are massive, especially this time of year, there are these massive schools of snook. and I mean big ones. I run into like 36 inchers that are down there. And I will go up on the jetty, and people are jetty on the jetty. Are like, "Hey, what can we catch? Where are the fish at? You know, what do I need to do?" And I'm like, "Dude, there's, you know, they're casting out baits for redfish and drum and things like that." I'm like, "Dude, right over here is the biggest school of snook you've ever seen in my life." And they'll call me a liar. They say, "Oh, you're just lying to me. You're just like messing with me." It is so hard to get those guys to take a bait. Like, you could literally fish out here for years, right in front of that school, with me pointing them out to you. And they just will not take a bait. I don't know what to do to get them to go. I mean, we try live shrimp on 12-pound test with a split shot, you know, 36 inches up the line. Can't get them to take it. I don't know what to do.
Go to the Addictive Fishing channel and search Texas snook. And we did an episode with Mark Nichols, who's the owner of DOA Lures, and they ate our soft plastics. I mean, it was a fantastic show, and I tell you, we showed a lot of people. And it's funny because it's the same line on the planet as Florida where they line. So right there, I think Brownsville, a little right by Brownsville, right there in the Brownsville shipyard there. That's where we're at, hitting the bottom, just popping them off the bottom, real slow. And they had a great show. I forget the name of it, something Linesiders, Texas Linesiders or something like that. Lone Star Linesiders, I'm not sure. Go search the channel. A great show with Mark Nichols catching snook down in South Texas.
Have to look that one up for sure.
Yeah, so I love that you guys did so many seasons and you did so many different shows, and you can still pinpoint that one. You're like, yeah, it was that one with this gentleman. I got all the respect in the world. I have a hard time remembering names. It's just like a personal thing. But the fact that you can like recall all of that and be like, yeah, this is what you need right here, this and this and this. Oh man, I'm envious of that.
Well, that's from being behind the camera for 31 years now. Certainly, I
editing, seeing it enough
yeah,
times.
I edit everything. I edit my new show too. I'm a big fan of editing. I think editing is really the style of the show. If you watch Addictive Fishing over the years, there really hasn't been a show like it. It's produced like a movie. We do a lot of things just for the camera that when we get back in the edit suite, when it gets edited together, it really kind of gets your heart beating. You know, it's one of those shows that when you watch it, you kind of want to go fishing afterwards because it just kind of gets you motivated. So you're right. I do remember lots, like today when I sent you that Marlin shot, I went back to find that. I couldn't remember where it was on what show we filmed that Marlin, that greyhound in Marlin. And that was when we were shooting standard def, which is kind of funny to talk about how old it was that we were shooting in standard def. But yeah, I do remember a lot still. I probably know more than Blair does because I edited all 23 seasons. I have it kind of in my brain, certainly stuck.
Yeah, well said. I've learned so much from editing. Watching other people that I fish with and then watching the stuff, and I'm like, seeing it in action. You know, I might see them doing like a rig or something like that and filming that. And then I'm filming them catching a fish. But then I'm not, you know, like I have the camera pointed and it's just sitting there and I'm fishing. I'm not paying attention. But when I'm editing, I get to see everything in action. And I'm like, oh, I get it now.
Yeah, that's the biggest compliment somebody can say for me is that the show goes too fast. And that means that the editing, you're not able to really perceive the time in the edit. And that's on the new show, Are We There Yet? Most of the comments we get is it needs to go to an hour. And that's to us, it shows us that the editing, when you watch it, you don't perceive time. It's like a movie. It's edited very much like a movie. So when it's edited that way, you don't feel time going by. Whereas on YouTube, when I watch YouTube, it's very much single camera. Here's what happened. Where ours is, we go back a lot of times and shoot shots just for the particular cutaway or just for a particular setup. A lot of people, I mean, C.A. Richardson, I think Rick Murphy too, a lot of these guys that are on the channel have watched us for years and always said, there's no way I'll work that hard to produce a fishing show. But again, it ran for 23 years. We had Dick's Sporting Goods for over 10 years. I don't think any endorsement ever had Dick's Sporting Goods for over 10 years. So the product was so motivational that it held sponsors and people would go out and buy the product. So it just was one of those testaments of the format.
And it still holds strong. I mean, it's what we're all trying to do.
I still watch it to this day.
You guys set the bar.
It's funny. I do a lot of shorts now. Out of the new shorts that YouTube, we can remix from a full episode. I could take a minute of it, and it's funny because there's always a minute of one episode that's got a great segment. And when I go grab that, I end up watching the show. A lot of times I'll just end up sitting back and go, "Oh shoot, I just wasted 20 minutes. I watched the whole episode." I mean, it's still awesome. good content. Blair's a really good host.
Questions about slide lining. A lot of guys on the jetties down here do slide lining for kingfish off the jetties. And Scully Nation over here saying that he has not tried lining. It's Mr. Ben Covanuvius who's saying that he sees people doing this off the jetties. Is that a Texas only thing? You got some? Yeah. Do you see the guys in Florida doing that?
No, not at all. That's a Texas thing.
Wow, that's interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
There you go.
They're real successful with it too. It keeps your bait right on the surface. We have a guy just right up here on Packery Channel. He is out there. I don't even know his name, but he's out there every day, I guess. And he's always got 2 40-inch kingfish just sitting next to him. Even on days when you're like, kings don't even exist here right now. He's got 2 of them.
There's nothing beats a good kingfish, Ron.
Yeah, fun stuff. All right, so I'm curious. So we got a few guys here in the chat who do YouTube channels. Obviously, we got a few guys over here who do YouTube channels. Would like to pick your brain for the next few minutes before we get into our Discord stuff. I'm kind of curious. So, what do we got to do? So you've done it. Like you've done it in the past. You've made it. You've got it up there on. You've got your stuff going on like Discovery Channel and stuff like that. What is the thing you see that's holding the YouTube guys back from being able to do that? Or what is the thing that you would advise a YouTuber who's like, hey, you do YouTube, you're putting in a lot of work, you're doing it right, like you catch your fish. What's that next step thing that you see people missing?
Well, getting viral species to me. I mean, I hate to mention it because I'm not a fan of the shark thing. Shark is an apex predator for me. We didn't target them on Addictive Fishing much, but I know there's a guy here in Florida that's done really well with his channel catching sharks. But we have a viral video that about a 12-foot hammerhead ate about a 50-pound tarpon. Oh. And it was just something that happened that we happened to film, and it got right by the boat, and it bit it, and the blood gushed up. And that's now 11 million views. It's 1 million views every month, and it's like, I don't want to tell people to go search out sharks because I don't want that. But honestly, it's really what people, like the gar guy, the big gar guy. That's a very specific species of fish that you don't always see. Goliath grouper. You're not even really supposed to target Goliath groupers, but on YouTube they do. So it's tough. Trout, it's tough to go viral with a trout. I mean, it really is. To catch a 25-inch trout, everybody's caught it. That saltwater fish. I mean, it's one of the easiest fish to catch when you're fishing saltwater is a trout. So it's really more, YouTube is more about connecting with that viewer, that person that's got their phone or that's got their computer. It's a much different animal than that television that's on in the living room. It's a much more one-on-one thing. And so that's why I don't really do YouTube a lot. I'm more of a TV guy where it's a storytelling, and it's kind of what we call the third person looking at us doing the activity, where YouTube it's one-on-one. It's me and you. So it's really just connecting with that audience. I think that's what makes things go viral, is being able to connect. And that's really, because I don't want people going after sharks. As much as I say that will go viral, I don't want that. That will hurt our fisheries. We can't have that. So it's tough for me to address YouTube, because I could say one thing and next thing I know, people are going out looking for sharks to try to go viral, or Goliath grouper, or sturgeon. Sturgeon's extinct up in Oregon. You're supposed to release every one of them. So we got to be really careful. I think I was a big conservationist, a big catch and release guy on the show. Certainly, we kept our share for dinner for us and the crew, but on the show we always tried to release it to tell that story of we've got to continue to release fish. If we keep killing fish like that Marlin tournament, it hurts to see those fish hanging like that sometimes. You know, those are big apex predators, and to be going out there harvesting fish like that, I'd rather do a video type, you know, where you don't have to harvest the fish. But that's the state of our fisheries. You know, there's not a lot you can do in those situations, but you got to connect with a viewer. You've got to be able to connect one-on-one with that person looking at their phone. It's a much different environment to me. YouTube is very here, where television is a much bigger room experience. And so that connection with the viewer on YouTube is, I think, really the answer. I mean, you see all these kids that are just doing podcasts, and they're, you know, whether it's Joe Rogan, you know, asking the right questions, these folks. I mean, that's part of it, you know, being able to connect with one-on-one with people, because it's really a one-on-one thing. It might be millions of views, but it's one-on-one, where television is a family thing, or your husband and wife and your kids, where YouTube is a much smaller audience. You have to pick up people as you go. You know, it's also putting it on, you know, getting it on another website, you know, getting other people to share your stuff. Collaborations, those are huge on YouTube, is collabing with another channel so that you guys can tag each other and you can begin to share your audience with each other.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm not saying anything that's new, honestly, to be honest with you. I've been doing TV for 31 years. So for YouTube is just a place I put my show for people to watch.
I find that so reassuring, though. Well, one of the things that people don't think about the value in YouTube is it gives you the opportunity to get that catch, and
Absolutely.
you don't have to kill it. You can release it because you've got the footage. You can show everybody.
I'm a big proponent of video fishing or video tournaments. You know, that way you don't have to kill. We did FLW, you know, FLW Kingfish. They had to bring it back and weigh it, so it was a kill tournament. But redfish, we didn't kill a fish. We tried not to the whole time. So that's just something that we got to be careful. Louisiana. I mean, Louisiana is one of the greatest fisheries in the country, but I hear they're having trouble with their trout fishery because they're allowing people to take too many. So it's just, we got to find a balance. And my concern is YouTube is everybody. I mean, there is everybody out there doing it. When I started in 1999, there wasn't YouTube. There wasn't millions of fishing channels. There was probably, you know, 5 or 10 saltwater channels. Now there's, or shows. Now there's probably 20 to 25. I mean, it's still strong, but YouTube,
yeah,
I couldn't even tell you the number of fishing channels that are out there. It's astounding.
The number of fishing channels that has grown just since like 2017, since the pandemic.
Yeah.
Everyone during the pandemic became a YouTuber in one form or fashion, and a lot of them are like you know, a good portion are the fishing and outdoors channels now.
Yeah.
And that's fine. I've got nothing against that. Go ahead, do your thing. Like, I'm not gonna. I have no hate on that. But the numbers on YouTube have been a little different as a result.
I agree. YouTube has changed the game, certainly, and there's a lot of others now too. So it's all right here. That's the best part. Is it's all you need is this, and we got YouTube. So it's,
hey, you're speaking my language. Like everything that I do, I don't own a computer. I do my entire channel on a phone. I'm really proud of that one.
Yeah. I do my my remixes of my shorts every night on my phone. So I certainly have embraced it, but I'm a big camera guy. Although the cameras have gotten smaller too. I see a lot of people using phones, like you said. I mean, I've been using large format on the fishing show for 23 years. We had big over-the-shoulder broadcast cameras, where now my RV show, we're much smaller. The DSLRs, the smaller little box cameras, have become more popular. And we go on a 2-mile hike, we don't have to lug up huge tripod and a huge broadcast camera. So that has changed a lot as well. So I've kind of been the whole gamut, you know, from before YouTube to after YouTube to, I think, you know, television in the next 5 to 10 years might not be. It's all going to be streaming. I mean, it's certainly putting pressure on it. I mean, advertising dollars are split between more and more channels and more influencers and things like that. So it's getting a little harder and harder to do the shows like we used to.
Yeah, I see that.
That's true.
I tell you what, gentlemen, I am loving this conversation, but it is that time. We need to take a look at some of the stuff from the Discord server, because we've got a lot of people who had an amazing weekend. We need to take a look at that.
Let's see it.
Yeah, let's see what it is. So it's Father's Day weekend. Obviously, everybody's going to be having a heck of a time getting outdoors and doing their thing. These are the photos of the week. And, of course, for anybody who's not aware, this is courtesy of the Premier Fishing and Hunting Discord server. There is a link in the description down below. If you're not a member, you need to come in and join us and show us the amazing weekends that you're having, because we have a good old time sitting here and having all these conversations and taking a look at all the work that everybody's doing when they're out and enjoying their time off. First off, of course, we have our moment of zen with the guys who got out there and just managed to touch grass and get some fresh air. That Garth Farmer, I see you in the chat. We need more stuff from the strawberry fields going on. We need to see more of what you got. And the rabbit shows. And, of course, we got Bacon Rider. Grant managed to get outdoors. He got to do a little bit of fishing. What do you say? It was 3 weekends in a row now?
3 Saturdays in a row. I got out on the new boat, my buddy's new boat.
Yeah. Yeah, we got more of that coming up in a minute. And then, of course, Magic Python Vestuvian also managed to get out there, get into some fresh air. Tigers fan was not able to join us tonight in the chat, but he did manage to go out there and get himself a nice fish along with MBG and Senator Armstrong.
Nice.
Yeah, they're catching.
Yeah, getting some fish. I'm liking what I'm seeing here. K. Franzis. I don't know what that is. I wish he was here in the chat, because every time he goes fishing, he comes back with something. I don't even know what he got, but it looks awesome.
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
Huh.
He's got to be like
a dolphin.
Asia.
I know he's not here in the States, right?
Yeah, he's in the Philippines.
Okay.
So I don't remember. It's like I think it's, I don't know. I don't remember. It's some kind of like, it's one of those deep water. He's in a kayak and he's fishing like, I don't know, 1,000 feet of water in a kayak or something for those.
Yeah, look at the eyes on the red one. Really big eyes. So.
I think that's a queen.
Is it
Queen
really?
snapper.
The long, skinny one. But they
Yeah.
are skinny, aren't they? Big eyes on it.
I made sure to put that right next to Ben's photo. Sorry, Ben. That's an awesome redfish, Ben. It just doesn't look quite as awesome next to K. Franzis. My apologies for you on that one.
You got something unique, all right?
Yeah. Dark Soldier's been he's been cruising around for on vacation for summer. Got some pictures from the beach. He had a ton of them. They're all over the server. I didn't have the opportunity to post them all, but I wanted to make sure to at least get one in here for him, because he did manage to hit the beach. And Mr. Alternative went out and got some fresh air and managed to get himself a clam or a mussel of some kind. I'm not sure what kind that is. Ben said the redfish tasted delicious.
Nice.
And Scully's saying he's in agreement on us with us on that one, Queen Snapper. Then we got Jackson, Wild Japan, and Buck, along with Tortoise 2, Guardian Gate, Bacon Rider, and Tipsy Hitman, all getting out there and getting themselves some fresh water awesomeness on the catches. That
Nice variety.
Yeah.
And that tortoise, whatever that, I don't know what kind of trout that is, but it's beautiful looking.
It is pretty. I don't think it's brook, though. I don't know if I've seen them. The spots are so perfect on it, you know?
Mr. Alternative pulled a muscle.
All right.
I had to do this. We had to go full page on this one. Scarecrow, he joined the Muskie Club. He finally got himself a muskie. It's his first time.
Nice. Congrats. Was it the fish of 1,000,000 cast or something like that?
10,000 casts, yeah. Which my wife's in Wisconsin, and she got herself like a 40-incher after like 3 casts. So I don't know where the math comes into play on that. I still haven't got one yet.
That just means that's the only one she's ever probably going to get.
Yeah, right. I told her she needs to just stop casting now and call it a day.
Yeah, might as well give it up.
And you were talking about that, Kevin. You were saying that earlier in the show. I in total agreement with you. Like, I'm a saltwater guy. I was raised on the beach, and it's just like a secondhand thing for me here. But my wife, we go up to Wisconsin now every summer to go visit her family, and they have completely turned me on to the freshwater fishing up there. It is such a completely different experience. I fell in love with it. I absolutely love it. I don't care if it's bluegills. I just absolutely love that experience.
Same thing. I agree.
It's all amazing. Grant, there it is, man.
tearing up the gills.
I didn't
Talking
post the
about it.
picture. I forgot to post the picture of the fish fried up shortly after that.
Oh man.
Well, that's a good thing, because we do this around dinner time. Everybody in the chat's starting to get hungry right now. Goth Farmer's talking about how they're eating up all those strawberries and stuff like that. So I'm purposefully not posting the food porn because of that. It's gonna, it gets people they start leaving and wanting to go and have dinner.
Right. That was Braden's first red ear he'd ever caught.
Nice. Braden, if you're watching this, man, if we catch it after the fact, whatever the case may be, sir, congratulations on an awesome catch. Yeah. Looking forward to seeing plenty more.
For sure.
Yeah, it was fun.
That's so awesome. Yeah, Golf Farmer says, yeah, I'm milking cows. Don't make me hungry. Next up, we got Vestuvian with this an absolute beast of a gaff top. Shadow Card got himself a little shark. Wendy's, who was our winner of the Photography of the Week contest last week, managed to get himself another awesome nighttime catch of that big old carp. Pug Attack, I didn't realize this. Pug Attack had a big dump of photos last week and then a few more this week. This is catches 95 through 98. He's trying to catch 100 species out of this creek. I didn't realize he was doing that, but he's on species 98 now.
Wow.
That's a lot of different species.
Yeah.
Kudos to you, Pug Attack.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I haven't gone back and verified. Some of these gobies and darters, they might be the same thing. I don't know, but I still commend the approach.
Heck yeah.
And when he's done with that, he needs to come down here to Padre Island. We're going to get him into some saltwater. Add to the list of species.
Nice.
We got Sheba. I don't even know what that is. A snakehead or something?
I can't tell in the picture.
Yeah, I can't really tell. But Jack's Destroyer got himself an absolute just tank.
It's a lunker.
Big old boy.
Big one. That is a big one.
It's a Mogan.
The unfortunate thing about a bass like that is it's such a short experience. Like you catch it and it's like, you got your pictures, you let it go, you do your thing. And then how many years do you have to go where you're reliving this experience before you get another one?
Yep. That is true.
Good luck on that, Jax. I want to see more. So now it is that time. Of course, you have a couple weeks remaining for the first half of the Photographer of the Week 2023 Wall of Fame. Last week we ended Wendy's with that big old catfish. This is our Wall of Fame for the year so far. Who are we going to be adding to the wall this week? We have Scarecrow with their first muskie, Wendy's with that big old carp, and I hope they're trying to get their second win in a row. Jack's Destroyer with that tank of a bass, or Guardian Gate with just a lot of love for the bass fishing. In the chat, let us know now. What do you guys think? Who needs to be walking away with it this week?
I'll tell you, I'm mixed, but Wendy's does a good job night photographs. I mean, the lighting on him and the fish last week and this week is really good. Just a good photo.
I do agree with that. Those night photos, they look really nice.
Yeah.
It's like chat coming out strong with the hey.
Oh, that muskie. Yeah.
First muskie, the fish, a 10,000 cast, that says something.
I'll throw one to that big bass. I like that big bass.
Jax, you got yourself a good one, man. Guardian, you got a lot of love on this, man. Regardless of all of that, I still like that photo.
Yeah, definitely. Ooh, man, I just looked at the chat. Scarecrow is killing it. That must
running away with it.
Yeah, he is.
I think we can pretty much officially call this one. If anybody has any options, if you want to deny that, I totally understand. We can argue this, but I think this is kind of a runaway with Scarecrow.
Yeah, that's a blowout.
That's a good fish. As a reminder, congratulations. I'm handing this one over. Scarecrow, you nailed it, man. Good catch. Keep them coming. We have two more weeks remaining until the end of our 2023 best of the first half of the Wall of Fame. We're going to close that contest in just a couple of weeks. We will announce that on July 4th. Get out there. You still got a couple weeks to go. Go catch some fish and go have a great time. Send us some pictures and get yourself in on the possibility of winning our prize for that whole contest. We're also going to be having like some, we're going to have something where we're going to include all of these photos for everybody, put them on some T-shirts and stuff like that so that you can enjoy being a part of that Wall of Fame. Get out there and go have some fun with it. Just a reminder, we do have that going. Jump in the Discord server and let's have some fun with it.
Awesome. Congratulations again.
Absolutely. Scarecrow, good job. Just before we close it up, guys, it is that time. Want to make sure that everybody gets out there and has a whole lot of fun this weekend. So that being the case, everybody in the chat, let us know now, what are you going to be doing this coming weekend? What can we look forward to seeing and what can we expect from you this weekend you got coming up? We're going to hold you accountable for that. And while we're waiting for you to answer right now, Grant, I'm going to start with you. What do you got coming up for us in the next week?
I put out a garden video this morning. We're going to be harvesting garlic and onions here pretty soon, so I'll be having some of those videos out. I've got to get editing on some fishing. That new 256 gig memory card for the GoPro Max, it's got like 18 hours capability of footage, so that's probably not good because I'll just get.
You don't want to do that. Don't do that to yourself because then you have to edit that.
Yeah, exactly.
No, we're going out of town this weekend, so I've made it out 3 Saturdays in a row. It won't be this Saturday, so it's been fun catching some fish finally.
Yeah. I'm in limbo for this weekend. Depends. We got some things happening. Don't know. I do know I've got boat trailers back here at the house. I got a little bit more work on it, and then I got to talk to the mechanics down at the coast, see when we can get started getting some things done on that boat. So that's it for me.
Real quick here, Outdoors Fishing Dream, what spice do you guys bring for a catch and cook? If you're going to go out on a run like that, Kevin, what are your thoughts on that? What's the one spice you're bringing with you?
It's easy. Old Bay. It works for anything you catch. For me, it's easy. It works.
Wrong answer. It's Chupacabra.
Yeah.
No, Old Bay is good. But you got nothing wrong with it.
Salt and pepper and cornmeal.
Yeah, I'm kind of a seasoned salt guy.
That all works.
Yeah. Hopefully the wind and waves are nice on our 12-hour deep sea run, dude. Ben, good luck. I'm really looking forward to seeing a lot of great things from that.
Yeah.
Danny says it's 106 degrees outside. I'm not doing nothing.
Yeah, that's where I'm at. I'm with you. He's right here in San Antonio too.
Yeah.
After killing like 10,000 pounds worth of animals over in Africa, Zane's saying he's going to a Phillies game.
Enjoy.
Vestuvian, we got Logan. I'm starting my new job tomorrow. Congratulations on that, by the way. You can see how you're feeling this weekend. You need to be celebrating, but don't celebrate so hard that Monday is going to be a bad day for you.
Right.
Polish PR, heading to the in-laws back in Illinois, so fishing with the father-in-law. I'm a big fan of that, obviously. Love that. I'm at the in-laws house right now, actually. Good luck. I hope you have a great time. I want to see some pictures. Goth Farmer, going to a concert on Friday and farm work all weekend. Who are you going to go see on Friday? What's the show? While we're waiting on that, Kevin, what you got coming up, man? What can we expect to see from you coming up in the near future?
Well, I pick up my RV this week, and we're getting ready to head out and start shooting season 3 of RV There Yet for Discovery Channel, airing in January. So I'm heading to Iowa first, then to Nebraska, then to Montana, then to Tennessee, Kentucky. I mean, I'm all over the place. So I'll be fishing on probably all those states.
That's awesome.
Sounds good.
That is awesome.
Yeah,
and for anyone who's curious, there's links in the description below for all of this.
I was going to say, if you're Kentucky, Tennessee, if you're above Nashville and make it across the Kentucky-Illinois border, Metropolis, you got to stop and take a picture with the Superman statue.
Yeah.
All right. I'll put it. If you see it on the show, it's because of you, Grant. I appreciate it.
All right.
You got good taste, sir. I'm gonna say I'm out here on Padre Island, miserable conditions, but we're gonna see what we're able to pull off. Guys, it is that time. We have run out of time for the week. Thank you so much for coming and hanging out with us. Thank you, everybody, for being a part of the Discord server. We really appreciate your time. Kevin, can't thank you enough for coming here and hanging out with us. I hope that we can have you back on again sometime in the I'm not going to say near future because I know you're super busy, but sometime in the future, I definitely want to have you back on. We want to hear how things are going.
Yeah, for sure.
I appreciate you guys having me. Let me know. I'll be available.
Awesome.
Absolutely, will do. John, if you want to hit it, I'll let you do your thing. Guys, have a wonderful week. We'll see you all in the next one. Go have a great weekend.
Have a
Peace
great
out,
one.
folks.